It seems like Utah will go to any length to get a competitive edge, even going so far as not to utilize the injury reports last week against Texas Tech. Are we getting an injured Utah team coming to Morgantown, or are they going to lie again?
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, guys? Welcome back in. My name is Mountaineer Paul. I am your host. This is Locked On West Virginia, baby, where we're talking about the Mountaineers on the football side again today, baby. And look, I know what you're thinking. Utah, it's Utah week. No chance. Well, I'm going to tell you a couple things. My research says West Virginia got a chance this week. We're going to talk about that. This episode of obviously Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. And look, we love talking about FanDuel. We do on this show. And right now with FanDuel, if you bet $5 and you win, it'll make you holler because you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Make sure you download the FanDuel app today to get started. And thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen and for being a part of the Locked On Podcast Network where we talk about your team, the Mountaineers, every single day. I'm not alone. He's the most requested guest in Locked On history. He's unstoppable. The Jackson Johnson Show is here, baby.
What's up, Paul? How you doing today, good buddy?
Doing good, man. Thanks for joining again, as always. Everybody loves having you on, man. I get a lot of great reviews when you come on. I think people connect with your realness. You're just a good old boy from the country. People like that, man. And you love football, right?
Love college football. Matter of fact, I'm getting up early in the mornings on Saturdays. I'm staying up till 2 a.m. for the world of college football.
For the world of college football.
The wonderful world of college football. That's what we call
the wonderful world of college football. Absolutely. So on this episode, we're going to talk about Utah and their cheating ways. You're cheating hard. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about around college football. We're going to pick some games. But I got some thoughts about Utah that I got to tell you guys. Yes, we haven't been great. We haven't been great. But I think we got a chance in this game. Honestly, I think we do. So Utah, unfortunately, last week against Texas Tech, I think utilized a loophole. So it's, you know how people can say omission is the same thing as lying, right? Well, this is a similar thing that they're doing here with the rules and the injury report, because it's technically an availability report. And so they use that verbiage to lie, basically. That's what happened. I mean, you can call it what you want to call it. That's what happened. So, quarterback Devon Dampier was injured last week, even though, he was going to play in the game. It's still, you're gaining a slight competitive advantage by not letting the other team know that, because they would game plan differently. Obviously, if your quarterback has an ankle injury and can't run around, that changes the game. That changes sports lines. That changes betting lines. It's not fair. And obviously it leads to other questions as, who else isn't on there or is being exaggerated or not exaggerated? We can't trust you now because you're using this competitive advantage. Oh, and by the way, you talked about it for years leading up to this, that if they ever implement a injury report, Kyle Whittingham said, I'm going to abide by it. And the first time you get the chance, you don't. What does that say about him, Jackson?
Oof. Says a lot, and it's not good.
Yeah. Obviously, listen, Kyle Whittingham is one of the greatest coaches ever. Honestly, he's a great coach. But I can't excuse that. It's not the end of the world. I'm not sitting here trying to come down that hard. It's not like what SMU did or even what Michigan did with the cheating. I'm not saying that, but it's still not good. And it leads you to wonder, is it really worth it all these days? Think about this. Teams are, to gain a competitive advantage, they're not allowing media in. They changed the spring games to spring showcases. The injury reports are being fudged with. Because of the new state of the game we live in now, NIL focused, money focused, coaches have become so paranoid that they're abusing the systems that are in place for integrity, like the injury report or availability report in this case. What do you think, Jackson, as far as how much of a competitive advantage could you get if, let's say you got a player that can play this week, but he's hobbled, but you don't put it on there?
Ooh.
Do you think that can give a team a real competitive advantage, or do you think it's overblown?
I think it can be a little bit of both. A little bit being overblown and a little bit of a competitive advantage. It depends on who the player is exactly.
What position they play, that kind of stuff, right?
Mhm.
So let's say it's the quarterback and he's known to be a running quarterback and he's got a bum ankle and you don't put that on the list. Is that a competitive advantage for Utah or Texas Tech?
I think it's more of a competitive advantage for Texas Tech than it is for Utah.
If they knew about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you know about it going in, right? Like if I know that you got a bum ankle going in, even though you're going to play still, I'm going to change my defense probably because you're going to be more of a pocket passer in this game. Maybe you can run a little bit, but it's not the dynamic player we know Dampier is. Do you think it's fair to say that Texas Tech didn't have the same game plan based off of that report? I mean, it's a fair question to ask. So similarly with West Virginia, you have to wonder, you're just going to have to act as if like these people are going to play.
Yeah.
That's the thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I disagree with that, by the way, Bryn, too. I appreciate you for being here. And yes, coaches have always been paranoid, Bob. That's correct. So my thing with that is, Bryn, too, yes, he played, but, people admitted that it affected his gameplay. And if you know a guy is hobbled, obviously one thing West Virginia struggled with this year with two running quarterbacks is with Parker Navarro at Ohio University, who's one of the best quarterbacks in the MAC, and obviously with Jalen Daniels, who's one of the best quarterbacks in the Big 12, struggled to keep them in the pocket when it matters most. If I knew that guy was hobbled going into that and wasn't at his 100% best and maybe isn't, so let's say 60 or 70% of the runner that he normally is, I would formulate a different game plan, right? Because you want to use that to your advantage. Yes, he may still be able to run, but not the same dynamic way. And it does change the game plan. Maybe you want to keep a guy in the pocket normally. Well, in this case, if he's not, let's say you feel like I feel like my spear or my nickel can run with him now that he's 70% there and not 100%. You know what I'm saying? Then I spy instead of this thing or that thing. There's just a whole lot that goes into it. And like you said, it also changes betting lines. So, that's the part that probably impacts people more than anything because people do it professionally. There's probably some insider stuff that goes on with it. Obviously, is it the end all be all? Like I said, no, it's not. I just think that ahead of this game, West Virginia should be wary. Maybe Utah overcorrects because they're in the spotlight over this now. And now they put a lot of guys on the injury report, and you don't know how to parse through that. If a guy's nicked up because I know the kind of person that I am is like, if I'm trying to gain this competitive advantage and then all of a sudden I'm being called out by the entire country. Oh, okay. You want people on the injury report? Okay. Everybody's on the injury report then. I don't care if they've got a hangnail, right? So, because then and then you can't accuse me of nothing, right?
Nope.
So we'll just have to be careful. I know I had seen a report Utah had a tight end hurt today. Really, I don't know if it's out for the season. I know he's out for the game against West Virginia. So we'll have to see. But at the end of the day, I think this is an interesting conversation. And it makes you wonder if Dampier is going to be hobbled heading into the West Virginia game. Last question for the break, Jackson. If Dampier is hobbled heading into the game against West Virginia, does it change your expectations for how you picked the game? You picked Utah to win earlier in the week.
I did, but now that kind of makes it a 50-50 game for me right there.
If he's hobbled. We don't know if he is. Maybe he's better than he was against Texas Tech as far as that goes. We know it significantly impacted him enough not to practice up until Thursday, I believe, is what I read. So, that means you're not. And here's the thing. One of my points about Dampier is their best receiver, Merriweather. They haven't been able to connect all year. I went back and watched a couple games. This is supposed to be a big-time receiver they got, and they've been off all year long. So, could his injury be affecting them in a, like an offensive line needs time to gel, so do quarterbacks and receivers. And it makes you wonder, are they having difficulty gelling as a result of him being injured as well? So we'll go to break now. On the other side, Jackson's got all the college football games around the country for you. And we're also going to talk about some thoughts I have on Utah. So you got to stick around to the end because I'm going to tell you why. And I'm not just baiting you here. West Virginia's got a real shot in this game. We'll talk about it next on Locked On West Virginia. This episode of Locked On West Virginia is going to be brought to you by our friends over at Mazda. Mazda crafts cars for those who do more than simply move. They craft cars that delivers with confidence with every ride, with more IHS top safety picks than anybody else as of August 2025. And with all-wheel drive standard and every crossover SUV, you can drive with confidence through almost any season. And like our players, we sweat every detail because when you make every move count, impossible becomes irrelevant. Do it today with Mazda. Move and be moved. All right. And obviously we had to talk about our friends over at Monarch Money as well. We love Monarch Money here on Locked On West Virginia for multiple reasons. But if you want to take control of your finances, do it with Monarch Money because most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, or investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table, right? So that's why there's Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or phone. Monarch is built for people with busy lives, just like you. And if you put off organizing your finances, Monarch is going to do that for you, man. Monarch does the heavy lifting after all, and you can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorization of your spending, and finally feel in control of money without ever touching a dang spreadsheet, which is a great thing in all aspects of life. Don't let this financial opportunity slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. Don't forget to use your browser because that's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE. It's segment 2. Let's crack open a do and talk about some college football scores, or, well, not scores, but games around the country with the legendary Jackson Johnson. Go ahead.
Oh, man. So Friday, we're starting off with Florida State, Virginia at 7 p.m. Eastern. And Florida State is a 6.5 favorite. Is Charlottesville Scott Stadium a trap game for Florida State before the big Miami game or no?
Interesting. What, obviously Florida State's a top 10 team. They've looked really good this year. Virginia's 3-1. I don't think a lot of people know that. And they played not really the toughest schedule up until now. I think they played Stanford. They lost to NC State, but it was a high scoring game. I know Virginia really spent a lot of money in NIL. Like they really went in. They went out and got Chandler Morris at quarterback, from what I remember, who was a really good player. If you remember Chandler Morris, I think he was in North Texas at one point in time. They've got Jamiri Taylor, I think, at running back, if I'm not mistaken, and Terrell Harris at the wide receiver spot, who's an elite player, really good player. So this is absolutely a trap game for Florida State. I would definitely be watching out for the Virginia people. And look, here's the thing too. Charlottesville is a sleepy little area. It's one of those arenas that if you've never been to it, I've been to it once. It can get loud when they're good.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt about
but I'm going to pick Florida State to win the game. I mean, but yeah, it's a trap game. But yeah, I think Florida State wins probably by 10 points.
Oh, Florida State, I think, is going to win 31-14. I think they're going to take it easy on Virginia a little bit. It's going to be low scoring in the first half, but the second half is going to be higher scoring than it is in the first half.
What we got next?
Oh, we got USC Illinois on Fox on big noon kickoff. And that is going to be a wild one. Is Illinois overrated, or was just one bad night against Indiana? And as for USC, this is put up or shut up time for the Trojans.
It is. I mean, listen, USC's undefeated. I mean, they've beaten everybody they're supposed to beat so far. But they struggled with, Georgia Southern for a little bit. They struggled with Purdue for a little bit. They struggled with Michigan State for a little bit. Like in every game, they've had slow starts here and there. I think they're clearly a talented team. They clearly have a lot of 5-star players. Obviously, Jaden Maiava, however you say his last name, is a good player. I would say, Illinois is going to be scary coming off of the loss. I mean, do I think they're as bad as they looked against Indiana? I don't know. I mean, I am totally shocked at the transformation under Cignetti there. They looked insanely good, like better than last year good, right? So, it's probably a combination of both. I got to go with USC in this game because, it's obviously an undefeated team. I think that they were exposed a little bit last week, but it's at Illinois, so it could be tricky. So, but I'm going to pick USC to win that game on the road.
Well, sorry, Sonny. Shout out to Sonny Vermont.
Not so fast.
Oh man, no, but I reluctantly have to go with USC on this one.
Oh, okay.
It's gotta be a 31-28 victory. Shout out to my guys, Matt Zimick and Tim Prangley, and shout out to Mark Culkin at Locked On USC.
They do a good job. What we got next, brother?
We got Notre Dame, Arkansas on ABC at noon Eastern time. Arkansas, the games they've been losing are basically close games, and Notre Dame basically has to win out to stay in the playoff race, and they need to hope for some miracles. But something I always tell my friends is don't ever put yourself in a position where you need somebody to win or lose for you.
It's ridiculous that the Notre Dame's still ranked, even though they're 1-2. Do I think they're a top 25 team? I do, but there's protocol for this stuff. Obviously, Arkansas is an elite offensive team. I think they've proven that this year. They've got an incredible quarterback, maybe the best quarterback in the SEC. Notre Dame has the best running back in college football, in Jeremiah Love. And you got to think that they've turned it around a little bit. I would be surprised if they lose this game. I just have a feeling that they turn it around here. I mean, Notre Dame's had they play a tough schedule every single year. I mean, if you look at the schedule they played, they've lost by 4 combined points, right? So this year versus Miami and versus Texas A&M, that's tough sledding. Those are 2 top 10 teams. So I think Notre Dame pulls away quite handily in this game. I'd say probably 10 or 13 points. Although Arkansas can put a scare into them, I still think Notre Dame is a good football team. They just had to happen to play Texas. I mean, how about you go play Texas A&M to start the season? I mean, along with Miami. I mean, no, I don't want to do it either. So I think there's a reason that they started the way they did. That said, Arkansas could put a scare into them if they don't play a good game, and it's in Arkansas. I don't know how Arkansas pulled that off, but they've got Notre Dame coming to Arkansas, which is crazy. So yeah, it's going to be a wild game, wild atmosphere, and it's just not a game you see on the schedule every year. Notre Dame versus Arkansas, it doesn't even sound right, does it?
Nah, but it's all right with me. I call it the Lou Holtz Bowl, but
it is the Lou Holtz Bowl. Oh my God, the Lisp Bowl.
Oh man, but
Lou Holtz is one of my favorite characters ever in college football, man. They had that Dr. Lou segment. Dr. Lou, the doctor is out.
Oh,
And
man.
he would be sitting there with a smoker's jacket on and the pipe, and then he would have like a thing like a soliloquy he would do. He would talk about what's next, man.
Oh, man. Well, I will say I've got Notre Dame winning 34-31 in this one. But then we've got Ohio State, Washington on CBS, the battle of the unbeatens. Two of these teams, those two teams are two of the 8 teams in the world of college football that have not trailed throughout this season. I kid you not.
Oh, God. Listen, man. As far as teams I hate in the world, it goes Pitt, then Ohio State.
Oh, wow.
I hate the Buckeyes. Here's why. So, obviously, I'm from West Virginia, but my dad got a settlement and decided to move us out of rural West Virginia when I was 14, I think. And so we moved to Southern Ohio, which is where I live, 5 minutes away from Huntington, West Virginia. To grow up among Buckeye fans is truly, I don't wish it for anybody. Because, think about the history they have as a football team. Only Alabama and a couple other teams can really have a conversation with them, right? Anytime I would bring up something West Virginia did, well, West Virginia won in the Sugar Bowl today, guys. Oh, really? How many national championships do you have? How many Heisman winners do you have? It's like, God, can I just be excited for a second? And so imagine, Matt, here's the scene. Set the scene for yourself. You're a teenager. You're 17 years old. Your whole life is ahead of you. And then all of a sudden, Miami versus Ohio State happens. The Fighting Ken Dorseys come in. Miami's got all this elite NFL talent to play Ohio State in the national championship game. And they're winning. And then Willis McGahee blows his knee out, and Ohio State wins this thing on what should have been a pass interference call. In a really good national championship game. And as I'm downtrodden, all my friends are celebrating around me. I don't wish that on anybody. And I was a hater from then on. And always will be a hater. So give me Washington, baby. Give me the freaking Washington Huskies.
That's a not so fast,
baby.
my friend. I gotta go with Jeremiah Smith and the Buckeyes on this one. Washington will trail for the first time in the 2025 season, as it's going to be an Ohio State 35-20 victory.
Yeah.
Oh, well, here we go. Sean Madonna is going to be calling the Magnolia Bowl between LSU and Ole Miss on ABC. We know he's going to throw his puberty voice out for that game. He didn't throw it out for Auburn, Oklahoma.
Puberty voice. Yeah. What was the game again? I'm still thinking about
LSU, Ole Miss, the Magnolia
LSU and Ole Miss. Yeah, you said the Magnolia Bowl, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. LSU, I've got some questions about.
Can I bitch a little bit more really quick, because
absolutely,
obviously, I don't even know if I have. I might have the screenshot still. Yes, I probably do. No, not that one. No, not that one. No, not that one. No, not that one. Okay, I don't have it here with me. It's looking like oh, that's right. I went to my X account and found it, didn't I? When I was talking to Trinidad Chambliss, obviously, whenever he first went into the portal out of Ferris State, I hit him up. And it was like, hey, man, I heard West Virginia might be reaching out to you. There was some chatter. And he said, man, I would love to come to West Virginia. I've got all the screenshots saved. I did an episode on it because he's balling at Ole Miss right now. And I said, dude, you would be so good in Rich Rod's offense. And he would be. And for whatever reason, we didn't reach out to him. And he, Ole Miss picked him up just to be a backup. And I knew he was going to be good based on his tape. They won the national championship. It kills me that we didn't pick him up because I really wanted Chambliss. I did multiple episodes on it. Anyways, LSU's a really good football team. Brian Kelly's a really good football coach. Huh?
LSU?
But give me Ole Miss and Trinidad Chambliss, my guy, to win this game in a little bit of an upset.
Well, last year, Sean McDonough threw out his puberty voice for Kyron Lacey, getting the game-winning touchdown. Rest in peace to Kyron Lacey. And let's just say he's going to throw out that puberty voice for Ole Miss, having a game-winning touchdown, 35-31 over the LSU Tigers. LSU has not defeated Ole Miss in Oxford in quite a while.
Oxford.
Yeah.
Whenever I was in Miami of Ohio to watch Marshall versus Miami, Ben Roethlisberger versus Byron Leftwich, that's what they say at Miami of Ohio. Their whole crowd goes, Oxford, Oxford, because it's so Oxford, Ohio. Anyway, go ahead.
Oh, man. Yeah,
Squirrel, Rottweiler.
Yeah, the last time Oxford was a winner for LSU was in 2019, but other than that, they have not gotten it done since. So Lane Kiffin's showing them the what for.
Any other really good games on there?
Ooh, Auburn, Texas A&M, Indiana,
name
Iowa.
the rest of them.
Huh?
And name the rest of them. I'm just going to pick one more before we go to break.
Auburn, Texas A&M. And we've got Alabama, Georgia, of course. Indiana,
we'll pick
Iowa.
that one. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
and it's Oregon, Penn State.
Oh God, dang, those are the best ones, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's pick those all three real quick. So that's Alabama A&M or Alabama versus Georgia.
Yep.
A&M versus who?
Auburn,
and then Penn State, Oregon. So, man, I like Oregon to win the game versus Penn State. I think they're the best team in the country right now. They've looked like the best team in the country so far this year. I think they're going to win the national championship finally.
Me too.
And it would be nice to see somebody else win it, right? Even though they're
Shout
in the Big Ten now.
McLaughlin from
Spencer will go crazy if they do. As far as Auburn versus Texas A&M, you got to go with A&M. Although I hope Auburn wins for my guy Zach Blackerby, which is my boss at Locked On Auburn, who is one of the biggest shows in all of college football. Literally, he does. Just a huge Auburn show, especially on audio. Several tens of thousands of hits on there. He does just amazing work. Okay. And then what was the other one?
We got Auburn, Texas A&M, Alabama, Georgia.
Georgia. Obviously, this is a tough game. I'm gonna pick Alabama to win this game. I think they're bounced back nicely so far. Although Georgia's a scary game for them. So
I'll tell my final prediction on Alabama, Georgia on Primetime Live later tonight. But Oregon, Penn State, I've got Oregon winning that one, and Texas A&M will beat Auburn. Iowa is a house of horrors, but I think Indiana overcomes that in a 30. Well, no, that's a 27-20 fashion.
Let's go to break. On the other side, I'm going to tell you some thoughts on Utah and why they aren't the big bad wolf all the Mountaineer fans think they are, and why we got a shot on Saturday. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia is going to be brought to you by FanDuel, of course, guys. And when we talk about FanDuel, we got to talk about them doing it pretty big as the NFL season is here, and FanDuel is making sure you get ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 to make you holler, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. That's if you win that first $5 bet. It's quick, easy, and the best way to add a little more energy to your Sunday. So are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app today by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. It's segment 3. Come along with me as I take you on a journey down memory lane. Rich Rodriguez owns Kyle Whittingham. He's going to continue to own Kyle Whittingham. I'm moving my camera around here.
There we go.
In all seriousness, though, Utah's taking a long road trip to Morgantown, West Virginia to play in what most would consider a stadium on par with Rice-Eccles Stadium, although that might not be known nationally. It's close. We have 60 to 63, 4,000 in there on a good Saturday. I think we'll have that on Saturday. The QB run game hasn't been there for Texas or for Utah much this year. Obviously, Dampier comes in with an ankle that's healing. Hopefully, that still remains an issue. Their best offseason pickup in Merriweather, or one of their best offseason pickups in Merriweather, is not in sync with Devon Dampier right now and has not been up until this point. Maybe the injuries have been a part of that, but they've been off. They're using so many defensive players on offense. It's insane. Their safety, Benny, caught a touchdown last week. I think it was called back, or I don't remember, but caught a touchdown last week. They're playing at least 2 or 3 guys on defense, on offense, because they don't trust the guys that they already have. That should tell you all you need to know, which is why they were held to 10 against Texas Tech. They've had very few chunk plays this year, and the one they did have last week, I think, got called back. They've been horrendous on special teams. They had 23 missed tackles last week against Texas Tech, which is really bad. They had 2 fumbles, 2 picks. They've had a slow start in multiple games this year, including in Laramie at Wyoming. If you think that stadium's tough, wait till you get to Morgantown. And West Virginia fields a really good defense. Now, Utah fields a better defense probably, and West Virginia's offense has been subpar to say the least, and that's putting it nicely this year so far. But if Jalen Henderson can break out like I think he can, and I think he can, and Ty Edwards plays this week, you're talking about a different style of offense. It's going to be what West Virginia's always ran. It's going to be that fast-paced, up-tempo QB run game style ball that we've all been hoping to see under Rich Rodriguez up until now. Don't give up on the Mountaineers. Don't give up on West Virginia. Don't give up on Rich Rodriguez. Utah's coming to town. Let's kick their ass back out of town. They think they're kings of the Big 12. Let's make them prove it. They only scored 10 points against Texas Tech. They haven't been unbeatable this year. They are beatable. We can beat them. And I think West Virginia does in Morgantown.
I mean, yeah, like Utah beat UCLA, but here's the thing, though. Everybody's beating UCLA. New Mexico beat UCLA. Everybody's beating up on Cal Poly. Everybody, like Wyoming, I'm still kind of like looking at that field goal unit. 1 of 4 field goals, a 25% range of getting the field goals against Wyoming. That's bad. And then like that missed field goal until like roughing the kicker penalty against Texas Tech. Like, they do not have a good kicking game. Make Utah kick the field goals, they're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, that's the thing. Their special teams have been really bad. And Texas Tech had multiple returns versus them. Now, Texas Tech has elite athletes. This ain't your daddy's Texas Tech team. Like, even that 08 team they had was good because they had a couple elite players. They had obviously Graham Harrell. And obviously they had,
Michael Crabtree.
Right, they had Michael Crabtree, which is where I was going next. I almost said Michael Beasley for some reason. But anyway, and an elite offensive line that year. But it was all developed guys. These aren't – so the difference between this year's Texas Tech team than other years is the good Texas Tech teams you've seen in the past, and there have only been a couple really good ones, were all developed teams, right, under Mike Leach. And this one under Joey McGuire is not a developed team necessarily. It's more of they bought a bunch of guys, which is fine. That's the rules, right? You got to go out and do that. They did return players, though. It's not like they're all bought. So it's a great mixture. Like Baron Morton, until he got hurt, was a great example of like a program guy, been there for years. You've got him as a captain. You slap him in there with a bunch of really good Texas Tech people that you brought in and added in with them from the portal, and here you go. You got a really good football team. Texas Tech could be a top 10 team. I mean, they really did look that good against Utah. But I think the sniff test against Utah this week, if Utah comes in and blows out West Virginia, we're going to learn a couple of things. One, West Virginia is really bad this year. And number 2, I think that Utah, can still be pretty good, which means Texas Tech is really good. Because West Virginia, not a pushover on defense. Not a pushover on defense. It's unfortunately like last week we held Kansas to a season low in the first quarter. They had 49 points in the first quarter all season long coming into that game. 14, 14, and 21 points in the first 3 games of the year. They scored in the first quarter. We held them to 7. We're really good at holding teams down in the first quarter. We held Ohio University, who's a really good offense, especially in the MAC, to 17 points, and that's the worst offensive performance I've ever seen from a team. That's not saying a lot for us, But West Virginia has been playing an immobile quarterback that's apparently been injured. We didn't know that. Nico Markel's foot's been bothering him. We all thought he looked slower than he did before. Remember, I've said this multiple times this year. I said, did he gain weight or something? Why is Nico moving so slow? Now we know why. So, that's the situation. Now you bring in Jalen Henderson, who can really, really run. Things are going to get interesting on Saturday if West Virginia can just make it a rock fight. And let's say this thing is 16-13 in the fourth quarter. It's anybody's ball game at that point. What do you say, Jackson?
Oh, yeah. It's a toss-up between Utah and West Virginia. If West Virginia does get whipped by Utah, then 2025 is basically big trouble for West Virginia, unfortunately. But I don't see this being a butt whipping. This is going to be a toss-up.
Yeah, and it's interesting because obviously, Jalen Henderson has – if you look at Jalen Henderson's passes so far this year, Skylar Callahan posted this earlier. Let's pull it up, actually. I had this ready. I might as well show it. So Jalen Henderson for West Virginia, these are his pass attempts so far this year. I probably can't show these. Drop, tight end, drifted on the rooter slightly off, which he did. The cameraman messed up on one. Overthrown ball, drop, and then he was complete. One was a miscommunication. Slightly led man too far on one. And it's just because, okay, I'm going to take a little excursion here. I've done this once before, but I'm going to show you guys something from him. First of all, he's got a good arm. This is Jalen Henderson, right? He can actually throw the ball a little bit. I know people like to think he can't. He actually can throw the ball a little bit. Is he an elite passer? I won't say that, but he's good enough that when he was comfortable in an offense, Jackson, he was able to run Jimbo's offense, which is a very intricate offense. It's not easy to run. Watch a couple plays here by him. And as a runner, he's not elite. He's not Pat White. He's just a notch below, but very, very good. Look at this seam ball right here. Boom. In between three guys. You don't think he can throw the ball? I can show you throw after throw at Texas A&M. He's just not comfortable at West Virginia yet. Give him some time, please, Richard. I'm begging you. I begged in the offseason. I got ripped apart for it. I thought Jalen Henderson should be the starter before the year even tipped off. And then I gave in because Nico, it was obviously he was going to be the starter. He was getting all the attention. He was taking the first team reps. So what am I supposed to do? Continue to dissent and say that Nico shouldn't be the starter when it's obviously he's going to be? I got on board. But he proved that, even though after Pitt I was saying he proved me wrong, I was a prisoner of the moment. That's just the truth. I got caught up in the emotion of that. I mean, everybody makes mistakes. But I do think Henderson has the tools to be a really good player, as you'll see here. Nice little ball here, not a hard throw. But, I mean, he's clearly capable. Look at now here's where he's way different than Nico, and it's not close. This is against an SEC defense. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 defenders, and there's a couple in the back. Watch how fast he is. He's able to outrun the defenders and get up the sideline here. Oh, sorry, another play. This might be the next play. But on one of these plays, he's able to do that. Here it is. No, next play. But, I mean, that's a great running play too. Maybe it's this one. It's one of the first couple. Now, that's a great throw. I love that throw there. Obviously, you're throwing this thing, and, here's the defensive back. Here's the linebacker. Here's the referee, and you've got to hit this window right here. And you let him just enough to where the safety didn't have a big hit, right? So that's really good. Look at that throw there. Pretty good. So he's clearly capable. You just have to get like that kind of play call right there. You got to get some play calls where he can get some easy completions early because he can do this. This is the play for sure. This is what he can do that Nico can't right now. Against an SEC defense, against Mississippi State, when he was in trouble, he was able to do this. Oh, the play broke down? Okay, let me outrun 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Mississippi State players to the pylon. You know, we don't have that on the offense right now playing every play. Look at this star right here. This is a perfect example of like he can run this offense. 1, 2, 3-step drop. And look at this. You got a referee right here. You got a linebacker here. You got 2 safeties, or I'm assuming a nickel and a safety here. And you've got to drop this thing in at the sticks in between 2 players, right? And it's got to be a good throw. And boom, he sticks it right in there. So he's clearly capable. It's not like he can't. He just needs to get comfortable in the system. Can he throw it deep? You bet your sweet bottom he can. Look at that throw. So, he can do a little bit of everything. I've been a big proponent of his for a long time now. Here's another big throw down the sidelines. He just needs the chance. And I don't know why he hasn't had it yet. Rich Rod's offense is like this as a passing wise. It's not a whole lot of downfield. It's not a whole lot of play action. It's a lot of quick stuff. But like he has some long stuff in there that you can do. So, I think Henderson clearly can throw it. I mean, did you see any plays there that would lead you to believe he can't throw it, Jackson?
No, I believe he can. I believe he will.
So that's going to be probably your starter this week versus Utah, in my opinion. Now, if it's not him, maybe they throw Scotty Fox out there. I mean, maybe Nico gets to play again. I think that would be a horrible choice, personally, against this Utah defense that's, I mean, hell, they sacked Baron Morton. They killed him. They knocked him out of the game. You can't put Nico in against this defense.
No.
You cannot. Like, this is the best defense you faced so far, which makes this a daunting task. So I think West Virginia got a shot today. They got or Saturday. But it's going to be tough, and we need Jalen and we need Ty to play, or we need somebody mobile and Ty to play, and we can win. We can win. All right, guys, I appreciate you for joining in. Jackson, tell everybody where they can find you, man.
Well, they can find me on Alabama with the Voice of College Football, including tonight for Primetime Live, where Coach Smoke and I will be joined by Matt Green and Bo Underwood from Georgia at the Voice of College Football, giving you the preview of the Alabama-Georgia matchup, the matchups to watch for, and much, much more. And you might see Only Talk Sports on there tonight as well. He's got some great insight on this game as well. And I've also got Pitt's analysis with Sports Talk with Austin tonight at 11:15 p.m. Eastern Time for Week 5 of the 2025 college football season. And for more updates on the Jacksonian, Alabama with the Voice of College Football, and my weekly calls on the Paul Feinbaum Show, where the weekends are full of surprises, and my appearances are all here on Locked On West Virginia. Check me out on Jacksonville CFB on @/Twitter and on Instagram and Threads at Jackson Johnson 543-908.
You calling the Feinbaum all the time?
Once a week.
You calling the Feinbaum? He knows who you are?
A little bit, yeah.
That's crazy. Have you ever asked him to come on your show?
I'm not at that point yet, but I'll get there.
I'm going to try to call in there one time. Is it hard to get in?
Oh, no. Like, you have to basically call in 5 minutes before the show starts, which the show starts at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Central Time. That's been my experience. So what you want to do is call in it. Make sure you've got your point that you want to talk about and get it in there right away.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you guys for joining in. Before you go, though, I have to let you know this. For now, if you didn't know, it's another big moment for Locked On. College football fans as well. Locked On and Fire TV present College Football's Kickoff, your ultimate college football weekly preview. Drake Toll of Locked On Big 12 leads the conversation along two-time AB Coach of the Year, Gary Patterson, alongside former college star Jesse Hawley. Don't forget about the Locked On local experts like myself that will also be joining the show from time to time. It's a college football preview only Locked On can do, and you can catch it every Thursday throughout the season only on Fire TV. For Jackson from Jacksonian, voice of college football Alabama, and all his other many, many ventures, one of the most popular voices in the space today, I'm glad he came on the show today. And I will see you guys later. Hey, listen, I got a live later tonight with JT Wistersill, one of the most – I know I say we're all talented. JT Wistersill is one of the most talented voices we have as a network.
He's amazing.
It's going to be a lot. It's going to be a West Virginia Utah preview. You're going to want to be there for that game. It's going to be at 8:30 tonight, right here live on Locked On West Virginia. I implore you to be there, show out in force, and talk some smack to a Utah fan. I'll see you guys then. Have a great night. We're out of here. Cue Country Roads and Wookiee noises.